way Brook Hill got started is very interesting. Looking back on it, it's really mind-boggling when you think about how this came about. The reason Brook Hill was started is because we felt God called us to do it. A feeling, an urging that you need to do this. In the mid-1990s, I was involved with a Bible study with some of my Sunday school boys. And from talking with those kids, it was clear that the public system at the time was not offering what they really wanted. They shared some stories with me that made me think, this really is not a good environment and a good system for them to be in. And once the school came about, we started praying for the school every Sunday night, even though it was just an idea, nothing concrete yet. But they were excited about it because these were high school seniors, so they could see that, this really would be neat if I had the chance to go to a school like that. And so we began praying, and this went on with a number of groups over several years. And the neat thing about that is that several of those young men that were in that Bible study, the very first Bible study, their kids are now enrolled at Brook Hill. And so I doubt if they ever dreamed when they were praying for the school that one day my boys or my girls are going to be there at Brook Hill.
The story of Brook Hill is the story of faithfulness, of God's faithfulness. How He took a dream of one man and took that and built something great with it. It's a story of all of our lives. God can take little things, little dreams, and do great things. Now at Brook Hill, we see how wonderful a school it is. So many advancements in so many fields of study. And it's all because one man with one dream and God's faithfulness.
When I first started here in 1999, at the time it was just 6th through 10th grade. So my parents, we lived in Terrell, and they knew that the private school situation in Tyler was growing, and they wanted that for my sister and me. And so we moved out this way. We toured Brook Hill. I remember touring the school. It was just Ornelas Hall and the gym at the time, 2 little rows of parking, and the rest was grass. And my parents let me choose if I wanted to stay where I was or come to Brook Hill. And it was Brook Hill all the way, and never left. When my kids graduate Brook Hill, I want them to know that Jesus is madly in love with them. I want them to know that with 1,000% certainty. I want them to feel confident to pick up whatever ambitions are at their feet and run toward them, and just know who they are as humans, who they've been created to be. And I know Brook Hill will get them there.
When my boys were really young, I read a book called Raising a Modern Day Knight. And one of the things in this book was it encouraged dads to bless their kids every night. And so I took that challenge to heart. And when my boys were very young, I started blessing them with live pure, speak true, right wrong, serve other, follow the king. And after a couple years of doing that, some of the people at Brook Hill approached me and said, hey, that's something that we should implement, not just with your own boys, but let's implement that at Brook Hill. And that charge became the guard charge. And now it's part of the school, it's posted on hallways, it's memorized in chapel, and has become really a charge of the Brook Hill School, because we believe thoroughly that if our students will live pure, speak true, right wrong, serve others, and follow King Jesus, then they will be on their way to a successful life.
We knew that the boys needed a Christ-centered education, so we looked at all the schools and we realized that Brook Hill believed in what we believed, that God was the center of education, and we didn't know much more than that, but after we got to Brook Hill, we knew that was totally a God thing. God put us at Brook Hill, and our boys have flourished there ever since.
Brook Hill really is like family. I never worried about dropping my kids off or now letting them drive on their own to Brook Hill. And some of our best friends are friends that we met when our kids were in kindergarten. So it is really like family. And I've watched teachers who pour into the lives of my boys, and they care so much about them. And it truly makes a difference.
Brook Hill doesn't just care about the education. They care about setting them up the best way possible for all areas of their lives. That spiritually, they want them to have they want them to know Jesus, and that's important to us. They want to give them life skills that are going to benefit them after they leave here, and they want to give them the best education that they can have. And I think the fact that they care more about just the education is one of the things that really drew me to wanting our kids to go here.
There were a lot of people that came alongside. I've used the analogy before that Brook Hill is like a symphony where God is the conductor, and he brings in just the right people at just the right time to accomplish what he wants to do. And we've seen that over and over and over again. Some of the early people that were instrumental, of course, has been Lou Nellis. She was our first significant donor that enabled the construction of Ornelas Hall and Harrington Sports Center. She was an ongoing encouragement to the school. She would come out here very often and have lunch with the kids and play ping pong with the kids and just be involved in the life of the school, attend plays and sporting events. She and her husband would come out quite often. When we were searching for a head of school back in 2004, we interviewed a number of people, and Rod Fletcher was one of those individuals. And when we first met Rod, our search committee, we knew without a doubt that he was the man for our school. And the more we visited with him and prayed with him and met his wife Heather, we were just convinced without any question that he was the one. And over the years, so many things have happened. His presence and our decision to invite him to join us has been affirmed over and over again. A lot has happened since he's been here. Once Rod got here, we began a long, steady stream of adding programs and buildings. Founders Hall was constructed. Young Field, the Kyle Lake Athletic Center, the Harrington Sports Complex with the baseball fields and the softball field. Harrington Stadium was built, a football program. The lower school, 3 more boarding houses. The cabin was reconverted from just a little cabin to a coffee shop, and the guard shop where we sell all kinds of spirit gear and other things. So a lot has happened since Rod has been here, and I give him credit for his steady, measured, focused leadership in encouraging people to join with us in this effort and accomplish all of those great things that we've done.
Brook Hill to me is my calling. It's why I do what I do. And I love this school. I love the mission. I love the people I get to work with every day. But ultimately, I love these kids. And the opportunity to influence and impact and train the next generation is an incredible thing to know that I'm doing with my life.
I have always felt like Brook Hill has done such a great job of keeping our feet planted in the present, focusing on doing the best we can with what we have where we are, but at the same time looking forward. Where are we headed? What are we working towards? How can we grow? What are we doing? And still at the same time reflecting on the past. What's our mission? What is our purpose? Why are we doing what we're doing? And to be able to accomplish all 3 of those simultaneously is such a rare feat. And I feel like Brook Hill has always done that so well. And Founders Day is a celebration of that. It's a celebration of what we're doing, where we're headed, and why we're grateful for what we have. It just culminates all of those things together.
One of the advantages for me personally of Founders Day is an opportunity to express personal gratitude to various people and families that have come alongside in this journey of Brook Hill to make it what it is today.
It's been a great time to remember what God has done. As we look at the school and its founding and the vision from way, way back, and all the people that have worked so hard to put it together, it makes you thankful for the people who came before us to build this school, the people who are working now to build this school, and then people in the future who will continue the legacy. It makes us thankful to God that He's brought us through to this point.
I can remember one of the very first times I came on the campus and walking the halls and seeing the students. And even though our boys were only 2, 4, and 6, and there was no lower school yet, I was excited for my boys to be around these kids. And I thought to myself, I want my boys to turn out like these kids. And I knew that that was in part because of what the Brook Hill School was doing in their lives. And so I looked forward to that. And they truly have become men that I admire and I enjoy and respect. And that's what every mother dreams to have someday.
Brook Hill's amazing. As we look at our boys and how they've grown from pre-K through elementary school, middle school, and now high school, we've seen how they have grown academically, grown spiritually, and they've learned so much. And we've been partnered with by Brook Hill. The school's done an awesome job in getting our kids prepared for life, for knowing their faith and defending their faith. And we're just thrilled to be a part of it as we see them help our kids and how we've seen them help hundreds and hundreds of other kids.
Last year, when Collins, our oldest, started kindergarten, I came up with kind of this little morning mantra that we would say on the way to school every morning. And it's, I am smart, I am kind, I am brave, I can do anything, and I love myself. And then I would say, do you know that Jesus loves you? And they would say yes. And I would say, do you know you can talk to him whenever you want? And they would say yes. And then all together we would kind of yell and kind of wake ourselves up. So that means today can be the best day ever. And we've continued doing that here. And I feel like with Brook Hill, we can say those things together on our way. And when I drop them off, that mantra continues through the doors. Everything that we are saying, their teachers and the atmosphere, the environment, everyone they're surrounded by puts those words into action. So it feels like this true partnership that I get to be a part of in raising my kids to be the humans they were created to be.
Probably one of the greatest callings I think anyone can have is to work with young people. There's no greater joy than to try to impart knowledge to a younger person. And that could be anything from the gospel message to calculus to the Revolutionary War, whatever it might be. And to see them connect with actually owning that knowledge because you were able to describe it to them in such a way that they took it as their own is a gratifying experience. And so that's one reason that I enjoy teaching. That's one reason that I enjoy being sponsor of the Cannon Guard. Teaching kids how to fire a cannon is a lot of fun. And of course, being on the Board of Trustees, just making sure that we don't drift away from the vision that God put in place here.
You know, whether you're a parent of a pre-K student, middle school student, high school student, you always wonder if you're doing the right thing. You're always worried about your kids. It's a common denominator of parents. You worry about your kids. And when you think about a school like Brook Hill coming along beside you and helping you, it just touches your heart. It makes me thankful. Because we live in a world where people want to have our kids go astray. And so it's hard to raise kids on your own. So Brook Hill is there, and they've helped us. That's why I want to be a part of it. That's why I want to contribute. That's why I want to give my time, my talents, my gifts to Brook Hill, because they've helped raise my kids.
When I wake up in the morning, I mean, that's the reason I get up, is Brook Hill. And the 1,000 or so graduates that we've had, I consider them to be my kids. When I think about how Brook Hill has changed so many people's lives, it really makes me speechless. I'm very overwhelmed that God would allow me to be a part of something so big. I never dreamed it would be like this.